Welcome, Jessica. I'm so excited to have you on our new show, Smarter Social. So, this show is about how you can get results on social media and how to make money from social media. So, today we've got the amazing Jessica. If you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you and your business, that would be fantastic.
I'm Jessica Eastman Stewart, and I want people to have more joy and ease. The way I do that is by helping people get more organized at work and home to make life a little easier. That's who I am.
Fantastic. Thank you. So, what were your business goals when you started your social media journey? What was the main outcome that you hoped to achieve?
Honestly, I'm not sure I had a really clear outcome when I first started with social media. I felt like I should have social media because I knew that working parents were a major audience that I wanted to work with, and I should be on social media and I can support them and give them tips there. So I got started not with a lot of intention, just I should do this because business owners do this. I knew that I get a lot of tips from social media and I wanted to be that kind of person as well.
Amazing. So, were you on a specific platform like LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok to try and get clients? Or who was it that you were looking to attract?
Yeah. So I started out focusing on Instagram and Facebook. And then I realized as my business evolved, I was talking about how to get more organized at home. I still had a lot to say about getting more organized so you can have more fun and be more effective at work as well. It became clear to me that I also wanted to be active in the LinkedIn space. Over time, I've tried different things. I've dabbled with Pinterest and Threads, but these days I'm prioritizing Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Amazing. How many posts were you trying to do on these platforms? What was your process of managing your social media when you first started out to
Oh
help
my
these
gosh.
people get more organized?
When I first started, I was so thrilled to launch my accounts, and I was posting just to people I already knew on my personal accounts. Hey, you can find me over here with my new business account, Instagram, come follow me. And then I realized, oh my God, it is so much work to be posting on this all the time. I'm supposed to be having tips every day. And I remember just feeling really overwhelmed. Organization is my thing. So I started using some structures to support me. I made up okay, I'm going to post funny things on Friday. And I still do that. I'm going to post tiny tweaks Tuesdays. So tiny tweaks you can do on Tuesdays. I had some ideas to give myself some guidance on what to post when and to keep some content pillars. I didn't know it was called that at the time, but those were some of the things I started. Really overwhelming, even within, because some of the ways that I was trying to do it required a lot of effort. I was trying to make complicated reels with voiceovers, and I appreciate when people create those things on the internet. I was not interested in being the person who spends hours creating like a really excellent reel. That has never been that interesting to me. I have great tips for people and I want to give it to them really quick and easy. So I'm like here's a picture of this backpack system in my house and here's 3 things about it that you want to know. I had to over time adjust how I was doing it and find my way that worked for me, because in the beginning trying to learn from this Instagram influencer and I should use trending audio and I should do this, and I was like, I got really overwhelmed and it wasn't how I wanted to spend my time. It didn't work for my business. I'm not building this business for someone else. I'm building it for me. I want to enjoy it. And so I had to try different things over time to see what worked and what didn't work.
Amazing. So I guess that your winning strategy, how did you find it and how did that kind of evolve from where you were at, kind of like trying to do the content pillars and finding out that that was a content pillar? What was the strategy to get people into an organization course or drive traffic to your website? What strategy did you find that worked for your goal?
Yeah. So over time, I started an email list maybe 6 months into my business venture. And it turns out that is my favorite. I love writing my newsletter. It's called the Friday Five, and it's just 5 tips every week. I could write it twice a day if I could get away with writing the Friday Five twice a day. I love sharing tips with email. I also have other products like the monthly management memo, which is for people who are leading at work, and bite-sized business views for fellow business owners. So I have these high quality, quick tips that people can get via email. And I love doing that. So it's become clear to me that I want to use other platforms to drive email subscribers because people tend to stay on my email list. I purge it pretty often, but people tend to stick around. They tend to enjoy things, are engaged at high open rates and click rates. And that is driving revenue in my business, both through the digital products that I have, as well as through affiliate income occasionally when I want to share a product. And so getting email subscribers has been a major priority for me.
So I guess from your different platforms on social media, you're driving them to sign up to your newsletter, and then you're reselling things to them through that and adding your affiliate links and making income from there. Is that right?
That's right. I also enjoy having followers on social media because the strategy is that if I can be in people's email box, their LinkedIn, and showing up occasionally on their Instagram or Facebook, it's an opportunity for me to help them more. A large chunk of my audience is in all of those places. They're following me in all those places and they're getting tips in different ways in different platforms. And I think it's reminding them, that I exist and I can help them with certain things. I do having folks follow me, but if you asked me, would you rather have someone follow you on social media or sign up for my email? 10 out of 10 times, I want them on my email list because I appreciate that I can get straight to them. And social media helps me drive it.
It's a complete awareness to be on all of these different platforms and then funnel them into your newsletter. So
Absolutely.
how do you get organized to do this then? It's like you're the organization queen. How did you get organized with your social media to be everywhere and then to drive them into your email newsletter?
I knew that there were social media scheduling tools. And once it became clear to me that I wanted to do that, I started asking people ahead of me in the online business world, what are you using for your social media scheduling? The most common recommendation I got was SmarterQueue. I looked into it, decided to try it, and I've been using it ever since. It works well for me because I don't actually have the energy to post live on social media every day. The expectation that I should be active all the time on social media was a lot of stress for me when I first started my business. So it took some time to get some content in. I had a virtual assistant. And so we worked with, okay, I already have some existing content with Make Good Social, right? So I've got blog posts. So let's get a graphic for those and schedule in some posts to remind people about my most popular blog posts. I pulled existing content to create social content. And then I started adding things. It has made it so much easier. Every day, I am posting 1 to 2 times on every platform that I'm on. I love that I can schedule things ahead of time. It's just so helpful to be able to, if I'm participating in some sort of collaboration and I need to say, today, this new thing went live and that's actually next week. I love that I can just do it now and not worry about it. No, it's going to go live at the right time. I love that I can put up a graphic that's Happy Halloween. Go ahead and repeat this on October 31st for the next 4 years. And I'm good for Halloween for literal years to come. And most often, the way I'm using it is, I'll give an example. Last night, as we're recording this, it is the end of the school year where I'm at. And parents that I know often call this time of year May-December because it's the intensity of the December holiday season, but in May. There's 6 different school events just next week that I need to go to. Plus the sports seasons are ending. Plus my kid needs to come dressed in a yellow t-shirt on Wednesday. There's so much going. And I was feeling really overwhelmed. And I thought, you know what? I need to mark off the last 3 weeks of school in my calendar next year to remind myself not to put things that don't have to go here. So I put a 3-week all-day event to say, be careful about scheduling things. It's not that I can control all of it, but there were some things I was like, you know what? If I'd remembered that this was a busy time, I wouldn't have scheduled it. And I would have done that next month. I took a screenshot of that calendar invitation to myself. I went on SmarterQueue app, posted it, and I put it into my queue, and it's going to posted this morning at a time that I've seen the research say is good for my audience. So it's automatically posting at the right time. And most of the time when I'm posting these tips, I'm saying, go ahead and repeat that a couple times. And in 8 months or in 6 months, it will post that tip again because most of my tips are pretty evergreen. So if I'm giving you a tip about creating a donate box in your house or an icebreaker question for your team meeting, that's probably going to still be relevant in 8 months. And either you didn't see it the first time, forgot you saw it, or you didn't need that tip, but now you do. I love that I can do the work one time and get the benefit on multiple platforms, multiple times over literal years. I'll log into LinkedIn and notice I'm getting all these comments on something. And I'm like, oh yeah, I thought of that 2 years ago. That was an idea I had 2 years ago. And it just happened to end up in the queue today. And it's getting engagement. People are like, yes, I totally agree. I love this tip. It's so great that Jess of 2 years ago had an idea that is helping people years later because of a simple tool, because there's no way I would be like, imagine the system. I would keep track of every tip I've ever written and when did I post it last? And that would be so much work. And I love that this does it for me.
It's incredible. It's almost like a second brain, because I think that a lot of people that are having their business model to be a newsletter and thinking they need to keep pumping out content every day, all day, multiple times a day on every platform, which is a real struggle. Don't
Right.
know that they actually be there for their kids. Don't know that they don't have to keep doing it, that they can just schedule something once on social media and then have it repeat across all different platforms for years.
Yeah.
It's just so effortless.
I love it. Sometimes, for example, I'll use the brand tools in Canva where I'll make a graphic or my VA will make a graphic. And then you can just press swap the brand colors and it'll change this brand color for that one. It creates a new version on the same brand. I'll have 3 Happy Halloween images instead of 1. They look a little different from each other. And I can post all 3 and vary the image. And each time it's going to post, it'll post a different image. I love that the captions can even vary. And I can use AI. So I can say, here's a tip about managing your email inbox. And I'll write the tip. And then I say, can you write that the same tip, but mix it up a little bit? And then I have a new version of it that's got a different caption. I might have a different graphic and a different caption. It took me maybe an extra minute to make a really different post, but same content. I can do that for things like one of the categories I use in SmarterQueue is my product, like reminding people, like I have a course for getting your email under control. I have a course for how to plan your week. I want those to go live every month or 2. I love that I can have different graphics and captions, and it just mixes and matches the graphics and the captions. I can say, post this every weekday or post this every 3rd week. I love that I can just keep that going because it makes it a little different, but it still gets out the same message, assuring that I'm not accidentally talking about the same course 3 days in a row. It's organized so well, and people are constantly being reminded of how I can help them. So I love it.
This is the thing. When people hear that every Halloween for 4 years that it's going to be the same Halloween, it's like, no, you can literally with AI change the caption. You can change everything.
That's
so
right.
It's not even the same content. It's like the ultimate social media cheat code. You just
Exactly.
hit a button and it's the same post has been changed and then it's scheduled for years. And a
Right.
lot of people don't know that you can do this. They're missing out on their kids' events, other areas of their life that they could be focusing on and growing, not just being sucked into social media the whole time, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Honestly, without SmarterQueue, I think at this point, I probably would just not be on social in my business because I just am not that interested in being on it so often. The fact that I can be present on social media as my brand, adding value without actually doing that every day, total game changer for me. When I need to make an update to something, it's just really like I could search for a word. Like I changed the name of that course. Let me update all the future posts about it. It's so easy to search in the queue and okay, here's the post about that. Let me done. It's just so simple to be able to do. And I can also see at any point what's going to get posted this afternoon, what's going to get posted tomorrow. I actually haven't used it much, but the big pause button, if I'm just, oh goodness, something's going on in the world, stop all the posts. You could just like the emergency pause button to just be like, no more posting, which I think is really helpful to know it's there. It was helpful for me in the beginning when I was building up my content queue. I paused it for a few weeks as we were putting things in and then it started. And then suddenly today is a post and tomorrow is a post and maybe a couple times a day for different days. I saw a report about LinkedIn algorithm maybe a month ago. And it had some new data about times to post on LinkedIn. I don't remember what it said because I don't have to remember. But what I did was I went into SmarterQueue, I went into my posting plan and I said, okay, this says that you should post at this time. Okay. I'm going to post a couple hours earlier. For every post in the future, it's a better time. I just had to make one change. I don't have to remember that. When am I supposed to post on Thursdays? I don't have to remember. I just told the computer and it does it and I don't have to remember it. And next time I'll see some different data and I'll make another tweak. I just love that it's like small tweaks that then work for me consistently for years.
Like you don't even have to think. It's just in there, it's automated. All that you have to do is focus on the actual creative side of your business and how you want to grow.
Yeah.
So what kind of results have you seen, like tangible results to your email newsletter from implementing these social media strategies?
Absolutely. I've definitely seen growth in social media. So I get the email actually, and the way that I mostly keep an eye on that is because I get an email from SmarterQueue once a week and it tells me what my posts are doing. And for some of the platforms, it says, this is how many followers you had. Now this is how many followers you had. So I can see growth over time. So I see that every week I'm getting more followers. Now, this is not a major priority for me, but it is steadily growing every single week. Wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't posting. And so that's helpful. But my email list is growing so much. Usually between 700 and 1,000 people per month are joining my email list, which is my priority. A lot of those people are coming from social media. And I can see that in the data. That's where they're driving from Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn and coming into my system. I often am actively offering email newsletter content. A common thing that I'm posting on social media is part of my weekly ritual, for example. When I write my newsletter, I go on Smarter and I click post now, post right away to all platforms. This is what I'm going to talk about in tomorrow's newsletter. Make sure you sign up. When I put a link, I'm usually getting at least a couple of subscribers every week who are like, I want to read about it tomorrow. It's been really helpful to drive that most important priority, which is my email subscribers.
That's incredible. For anyone working predominantly on growing their business through newsletter and through email marketing, what is the first piece of advice you would give them if they're thinking, okay, I want the same results as Jessica. I want to be able to have time in my life and in my business without having to get sucked into promoting myself. Where should they start? What should be the very first thing that they should do?
I would start with using content you've already created to create your social content. Throw it into your SmarterQueue account and get yourself set. And that is actually that was something I did in the beginning. I said, okay, what social content? I've written some blogs there. Let me make some social posts about those. But now it's part of my regular systems. For example, every time I write a blog post, my VA and I use a checklist about how to market that blog post. We have things putting it in my email newsletter, making a graphic and putting it into SmarterQueue and having it repeat 3 times. So every time I'm creating new content, it's going there. As I write my email newsletter, I am saying, okay, a lot of it is very timely content. For example, in tomorrow's newsletter, I will probably share about a workshop happening next week about kids and screen time over the summer. That is not evergreen. It's happening next week. So that's a great email newsletter piece. But I will also share tips in tomorrow's newsletter that are very evergreen. They're a great tip for wellness, or a great tip for your home, or a great tip for being a great manager at work. Every time I write the newsletter, I pull 1 to 3 tips that are pretty evergreen that I can imagine posting at any time of the year. And I pull them over into a spreadsheet, and we're using that on my team to create social media content. So I'll mark it like, this would make a good carousel. This would make a good image, right? And sometimes they don't make a good image or carousel depending on the tip. If it does, I put it there and my VA will make some of those images, put them into SmarterQueue, set them to repeat. So we're taking the tips that I have written one time and they're getting out in an email, but then they're also getting repeated on SmarterQueue as social media posts with this literally the same words. We're just making like an image that is not even that complicated. The image might say, drink more water tip. It's really not that fancy, right? But it gets what it needs to get done. And it's incredibly helpful. Then we also use that to make podcast episodes, which then, spoiler alert, get made into posts that we put on SmarterQueue. So the content is just getting repeated. And I'm using things. And then sometimes we group those posts together. Here's some tips about getting better sleep. There's 6 tips over the last year that I've written in my newsletter that are related to sleep. Blog post, which then gets put into SmarterQueue. Just write a tip and then find all these other ways to use it. So I would say start with the content you already have. You probably have so many gold nuggets in recordings, in Google Documents, in email newsletters you've already sent. Go mine those or have someone mine those for all the little things that can easily be turned into content. You specifically need to say, if you want more tips like this, come get on my email newsletter. I've never once had anybody be like, you know what? You emailed me that tip in August, and then I saw it on LinkedIn in March, and I just don't like that. Nobody has ever said that. People like to hear tips more than once, or they haven't seen it in one, or they missed that one. So it's never been a problem. All it does is help more people more often.
That's so cool. How much time have you spent on social media promoting yourself versus how much growth you've had? Because you mentioned that you've had 1,000 a month, was it? New subscribers on social media. What kind of time estimate would you say you spend on social media a day or a week for people that kind of like benchmark how often that they should spend on marketing themselves?
That's a great question. I definitely don't spend time every day. Sometimes I don't even spend time on social media every week. I will write my newsletter today, and then I will take some of those tips and put them into a place so that me and my team can turn those into social media over time. If I was just a team of myself, I have a couple part-time virtual assistants, then I would do that in batches myself later on. That might take me 1 hour a week, depending, and they're not spending a huge amount of time either on it. One thing I will do is if I take a picture of something in my home, or I take a screenshot of a quote I see in social media that I want to add my thoughts about or something like that, I just use the SmarterQueue app. Yesterday, I told you I was posting for my daughter's softball game. I'll be standing in line or waiting for my kid to be done with sports practice, and I'll see a screenshot and I'll be like, oh yeah, and I'll just write my thoughts and post it there. Occasionally, you could catch me on a plane like, oh, I've been very busy and I've got 10 screenshots that I want to share on social media, and I might spend half an hour on a plane posting all of those, but not a lot of time. Less than 2 hours a month, that's for sure. And sometimes even less than that.
I think that's going to be shocking for some people that are probably spending 2 hours a day. They are as great results as you, because you go onto social media, you get sucked into the scroll, you don't have the screenshots of the things that you want. You're like, well, let me just quickly get some inspiration. And then before you know it, you're looking at recipes or something completely unrelated to actual business goals. So to hear that you're on it for only 2 hours a week and you're getting
I would say hours a month.
2 hours, okay, so 2 hours a month and 100,000 new more subscribers a month.
Yeah, it's going great. And I would say my social media and my email list would probably grow even faster if I spent 2 hours a day on it. There's all those tips like you should be on there commenting for 30 minutes before you then post, and then you go and comment and all these things. There's like all these strategies for how you like get seen by the algorithm. I bet if I did that, I would see even better results. But I don't want to do that. I would hate that. And so I'm not going to do it. So it's either SmarterQueue with a little bit of time or nothing. And other folks are doing that and they're enjoying it and it is working for them. Keep doing it. But I'm just not going to do it. That is not what I'm interested in, because you're right. I had ADHD. I will get sucked in and distracted by so many things. It just doesn't work for me. It's working great for me to just put in a very little amount of time. I'm getting great results from it. And I get feedback when I see friends are like, you are everywhere. How are you posting so much? And then I get in your email newsletters. And I'm like, girl, I wrote that tip like 2.5 years ago, but I'm glad it was helpful for you. It's absolutely maximizing a very small amount of effort into a lot of impact.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Jessica. If you would like to try SmarterQueue, you get a free trial. Normally, if you go online, the free trial is at 14 days. But if you use Jessica's link, which I'll put in an image here, then you get 30 days for free. There's no credit card needed. You can try out all the features, see if it works for you, see if it works to your business, and get similar results to Jessica. You can try it. And where should people find you, Jessica, if they'd like to connect with you, they'd like to ask you more questions and find out more about you?
I'm at jessicaeastmanstewart.com. And if you want to go to my website, the best way that you can stay in touch is just to get on my email newsletter, which you can do on the front page. I have a lot of free resources to help people get more organized at work and home. jessicaeastmanstewart.com/freebies. There's things like a 15-page list of meeting icebreaker questions and masterclass for how to get more organized at home. That's less than 30 minutes and really helpful for a lot of folks. So lots of great tools there. they're helpful. I'm on LinkedIn, Jessica Eastman Stewart, and on Facebook and Instagram at Joyfully Managed Family.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jessica. It was a pleasure.
Oh, it was definitely a pleasure.